We see here there was a crisis in heaven. There was no man who can open the book. There was no pope, archbishop, or whosoever who could open the book of the mysteries, the abstract title deeds of redemption, but no one could even open the book or even look on. And John was weeping. You know, John had a testimony when in chapter 4, when the voice says, "Come up higher." And he left the Patmos with these taskmasters, the dark background of hard things there. He left and went to a higher realm. Imagine you are now in the realm where God called you to be. Then you find a new crisis. You are now in the testimony that is given by God. Then you find a new crisis. You are now in the job that is given by God, in the marriage that is given by God, where God himself called you into that. Then you find where you were celebrating, saying, "God has brought me here." You find there's a new crisis. But while he was crying, the elder, we had a relationship with John, because John is one of the 24 elders actually, because it's 12 patriarchs and 12 apostles. We have a representation in heaven. There is another part of you, a theophanic you, that answers to the weaker you in times of crisis. There is an inner you that answers to the outer you in times of crisis. There is a spirit in a man that sustains his infirmity. There is another part of you that cannot give up, that cannot be discouraged, that cannot be pulled down. That is the real you in you. So John, while he was weeping, the elder says, the lion has already prevailed. So in the eyes of God, it's past tense. It's already done. While the book was still closed, but in God's language, the lion has prevailed to open the book. So while John was weeping, he didn't know that someone has already prevailed. It's like those who are weeping going to the grave of Christ, saying, "Who shall roll the stone?" knowing not that the stone is already rolled. It's like those who are weeping going to Emmaus, saying, "You are supposed to deliver us," not knowing that the answer is already come. You may be weeping about your situation, not knowing that God has already done something about your situation. While they were weeping in John Mark's house, praying for Peter, saying Peter must be free, they didn't know that Peter was knocking at the door. While you are complaining about your situation, you don't know that God has already prevailed. Because angels speak in prophetic language. In Revelation chapter 14, the angel comes and says, "Babylon is fallen." But we look in chapter 17, Babylon is even becoming mysterious. It's becoming worse. It's becoming mystery Babylon. But the angel in chapter 14 says it's fallen. Then in chapter 18, people say, in 1 hour, the great Babylon is fallen. It fell when the angel said it's fallen. There will come a time where they say, in 1 hour, things have changed like this. They changed. That 1 hour is caused by a declaration. So we are declaring today what shall cause the 1 hour change later in your life. We are declaring upon your spiritual life, upon your prayer life, upon your marriage, upon your testimony, that something is going to happen. So while John was weeping, the same spot where he was weeping, the chapter ended with him rejoicing. So when you came here maybe with a situation, may this service end with you rejoicing. When he was weeping, where he was standing weeping, that's why he was standing rejoicing until he says, all nature heard him praising God. All your relatives, all your friends will hear you. When he was weeping, not all nature heard him. Not everybody heard him, because weeping is a private room where you are weeping before God. But God, who sees you in private, rewards you openly. So there shall be an open reward of your private weeping. So today may God intervene in your situation. We are already in the mountain.